As I said, the main function of the monthly editions of the Ryder report is to provide you with good quality information about real estate markets around Australia, to balance the misinformation that occurs on a daily basis in mainstream media. What we get from our newspapers and other forms of mainstream media is either extreme negativity, or at the other end of the scale, it's editorials talking up the market. And there's very little in between. What's missing is balance and integrity of information. So with the Ryder report, every month we set out to provide you with good quality information to try and counterbalance that. So in this current March edition of the report, we look at what drives property markets with an emphasis on what's happening with local economies. We look at what's really going on with prices, bearing in mind that if you source data from 5 or 6 different sources, you're going to get 5 or 6 different figures on the same market, some of them quite contradictory. So we analyse certain sources' information about prices, rentals, vacancies, to try and give you a picture of what's really going on. And we do ask the question, what about some of the other measures of markets? Because mainstream media is pretty much obsessed with changes in median prices. We look at information about land prices, about rentals, and about vacancies, emphasising the fact that in all those instances, most of the data is actually quite positive, as opposed to what mainstream media is emphasising, what's happening with median prices in Sydney and Melbourne. The essential difference between what we produce with the Ryder report and what you get from mainstream media sources is that we don't generalise. We don't talk about the Australian property market. We don't just provide a single figure describing a very large market like Sydney and leave it at that. We dig down a little bit deeper and tell you what's going on behind those generalised figures, highlighting the fact that even in cities like Sydney and Melbourne, where the overall situation is down, there's still growth to be found if you know where to look at. We segment, we look a little bit deeper and highlight the areas where something different is happening to what's portrayed in our newspapers and other forms of mainstream media. We have sections on all the states and territories, what's happening with their capital cities and some of the regional markets as well. So if you take the time to sit down and read the Ryder report, you'll find good information on markets right across the country with depth and quality and integrity of information and analysis, something you're not going to get from mainstream media out there. So please take the time to read the current March edition of the Ryder report. I think you'll find it rewarding and you'll be a better informed property investor as a result. That's it for now. Terry Ryder signing off. Let's do it again soon.